Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I have a Templar here in the video, but that's not what this video is about. This video is going to be a little beginner guide for those of you that are new to motorcycle riding or dirt bike riding, whatever it may be. Here's my 5 quick tips. If you are a beginner you never turned a wrench before and you want to kind of get familiar with how to do it. Tip number 1 would be to acquire tools. Now, you can get something as simple as this from Walmart where it just has, hopefully I don't drop everything. I took out the standard because this stuff is just metric, but it comes with a couple of metric sockets. But this is 1/4 inch stuff, so it's kind of small. So that's going to be your first thing, is to acquire tools. You can spend $500 on a Craftsman full set. You could spend $50 on Amazon. You could spend $15 at Walmart. It does not matter. Just acquire some tools, okay? In my opinion, you're going to be breaking and stripping bolts before you break Chinese-made sockets. I use this on my Hawk. I just put this in the back little bag for me, just so I have it, because this thing is super, this is almost a perfect size for anything that you need to do on the bike. So I'd recommend this, maybe a couple screwdrivers, some flatheads, some Phillips head, and an adjustable wrench, like a 10-inch adjustable wrench. That way you can get those bigger bolts, like axles or forks, whatever it may be. So that's going to be my first thing. First thing is acquire tools. Now that you've acquired your tools, we're going to move on to step 2. Step 2 is going to be research. This part could be kind of boring, but most of the time when you want to perform a job on your bike, let's say oil change or chain adjustment or whatever it wants to be, a bar replacement, whatever it wants to be, most likely there's a video already out there on YouTube. So you just punch in YouTube, let's just say Templar 250 oil change or Templar 250 chain adjustment, whatever it may be, or spokes or whatever. There's so many videos out there. YouTube's been out forever. So the likelihood of you not finding what you're looking for is pretty slim in my opinion, especially on the Hawk 250 and the Templar. There's such a huge following, such a huge group trying to push out information. So you can either go on YouTube, you can go on forums like Facebook or ChinaRider.net. There's just so many places to acquire information on these bikes. All right, you've got your tools, you've done your research on the job you want. Now comes number 3. Pick small, easy jobs to do, to get familiar with how the wrench feels, to get familiar with when it's too tight, all that good stuff. It only comes with time and doing it. You could buy a torque wrench, but in my opinion, last time I used a torque wrench, I snapped the head bolt off. So in my opinion, you're gonna need to build some feel when you turn a wrench. If you want to replace parts like shift levers, where it's just one bolt and it comes right out. If you want to do sprockets, those are pretty simple. But stick with jobs that are low risk and high success rate. Moving on to number 4 now. So we've got our tools, we've done our research, we've gotten familiar with how to turn the, not so much how to turn the wrench, but get familiar with how it feels, when to stop, trying to push it to the limit. You're getting a good feel of the wrench and the bolts and all that. Now it comes on to number 4. So in order to do certain other difficult jobs, you need to get more specific tools. Depending on which job you want to do will depend on what tool you have to buy, right? If you're trying to do a big bore kit and you want to buy a ring compressor, if I want to do a valve adjustment, I need to get feeler gauges. So stuff like that, you're gonna have to acquire more specialty tools, but don't do this unless you're so familiar with your bike with all the small tasks, because the small tasks are obviously the easier ones, and as you get up higher, it gets more difficult. You have to think a little bit more, and sometimes there's no video out there to help you process, what to do next. Same thing with the forks. No one touched the forks besides me, so if you get so deep into a project and it fails on you, you're pretty much done, or you have to throw it away, or whatever. So really do your research, and if you're up for the challenge, I'm sure there's a ton of people out there that are willing to help you. But just keep that in mind, that once you get into these bigger jobs, you're kind of on your own. Last but not least is going to be tip 5, when that is going to be, now you can move on with the bigger jobs. So bigger jobs, meaning valve adjustments, big bore kits, exhaust modifications here. You have to cut and weld, stuff like that. Now you're starting to get a good feel for the bike, how to turn the wrench, when to stop turning it, right? All that good stuff. And now you pretty much can move on to, the bigger task at hand. Now, I'm always still doing big tasks, whether it be on my truck, because I LS swapped it, so I'm always doing a little bit something that, I'm moving into unknown territory. Or, I have a 2007 R1, I need to do the valves on it. I mean, it's got 4 cylinders, 4 valves per cylinder. I am not looking forward to that. So there's still some jobs that intimidate me. I've been turning wrenches for over 10 years. I'm just working on different things like ice truck, bikes. So that job still kind of scares me a little bit. That's why I haven't dived right into it. But that's the biggest thing is, now you start moving into the harder jobs. Like I said, there still should be some videos out there as far as like valve adjustments, and I posted a video on the big bore kit. So there's definitely still videos out there for the bigger jobs. But sometimes, depending on how big you go, there's no help, and you're gonna have to figure it out on your own. All right, now, so a little recap. Tip 1, or kind of step 1, is to acquire tools. You could spend $1,000, you could spend $50, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, you're gonna break bolts before wrenches. So that's tip 1. Step 2, research. Research the job you're about to do. Don't just dive head in and, oh, this looks pretty simple, and all of a sudden now you have stripped bolts and you're lost in your process, all that good stuff. So take your time, watch a 5-10 minute video, get a good understanding of what to expect when you start working on your bike. So that's step 2. Step 3 is go about doing small jobs, oil changes, chain adjustments. If you want to adjust your bolts, if you want to adjust your, these little bolts up here, or your levers or whatever, do small tasks that are low risk, high reward, meaning they're not very difficult, so they're very easy to do, and most of the time you'll do it correctly. Number 4, once you have pretty much done all the small tasks on your bike, look at getting specialized tools, right? Feeler gauges. If you want a torque wrench, in my opinion, you don't need one, but a torque wrench, and so on and so forth. So just get specialty tools, maybe a hammer, maybe a crowbar, if you need to bend some stuff, right? Cut off wheel, grinder, whatever, right? Welder. But go about getting tools, but go about them knowing that, okay, I have a job coming up, I need this specific tool or else I can't complete the job, okay? That's gonna be number 4, acquire more tools. And number 5 is tackle the harder challenges. Big bore kits. I did the fork mod on this bike. On the Hawk 250, you can do all kinds of stuff on it. Motor swap, supermoto wheels. So, but get very familiar with your bike before tackling a difficult challenge. And that's it, guys. I hope this video was informative. Again, a lot of people that buy this bike or the Hawk 250, or they buy an Apollo, or they buy whatever, it's most likely their first bike. They've never turned a wrench before. So I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of help you guys, put some information out there to help you guys kind of work through a little step-by-step process, because it is getting expensive to work on, to take your bike somewhere, and it's only going up. It's never going down. Alrighty, guys. Well, if you enjoyed today's video, let me know down below. I'll have links to everything down below from my Amazon affiliate link. I also have the channel memberships if you want to do that. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you.